enjoying something or not.
No, I'll take it, Daniel. I'll take it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Really?
Yeah, always.
What?
They
Girl, boy?
girl. Hang on.
Very nice.
These are James.
Good morning. I would like to welcome everybody to the Board of Directors meeting for the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency. We're at the BWB Building, 201 West 3rd Street, Jamestown, New York. We're also streaming live via YouTube and Zoom. It's January the 28th at 10:35. We'll go ahead and do roll call. Gary Henry's here. Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Here.
Tom Harmon.
Here.
Kevin Muldowney.
Here.
Amy Harding.
Here.
Dan Hetzenrader. Here. Dan DeMart.
Here.
You should have already received the minutes from the December 17th meeting and had a chance to review those. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Tom. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sagan. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed? Minutes have been approved. Before we move into new business, I'd like to take a minute to recognize Carol. And we certainly appreciate all her time with the IDA. And I think Mark has a few words he'd like to share.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, so, I was thinking about this and, I just hope I can do this moment justice. Carol has been just such an integral part of the IDA for 24 years. She's been, I got to know her 15, 16 years ago when I was working for the county in the planning department and always respected her and appreciated her encouragement. She's been, she's seen a lot over the years. She was the secretary to Rich Alexander way back when he was the IDA director. She served under 5 different IDA CEOs. She's served under 5 county executives, including Mark Thomas, Greg Edwards, Vince Horgan, George Borello, and obviously currently PJ Wendell. She's really been instrumental in establishing and making our loan fund successful, including the emergency working capital loan fund that we did during COVID and securing the EDA funds and getting those all that $10 million lended out in 18 months. So, when I think about Carol, I was thinking about words that sort of characterize her. And I would say loyal, professional. She's a hard worker. She's a team player. She's dedicated. She's been a mentor to all of us. She's been a friend. She's been a cheerleader of the IDA. She's been really well respected by the business community. She has a banking background, so she's qualified. She's friendly. She's personal, and the list goes on. Some of the key businesses that she's assisted over the years include Artone, Bush Industries, which is now eSolutions, Cummins Engine, Dahlstrom, New Flyer, Phoenix Metal, Ram Machine, SKF, Southern Tier Brewing Company, Weber Knapp, and many, many more. Carol graduated from Ohio Northern University. She started her career at KeyBank, and she's been a member of the Chautauqua Leadership Network for a number of years. She served on the board of Jamestown Boys and Girls Club. And, Carol's retiring. She deserves to, fulfill, her dreams and passions for what's after work, right? And she so deserves it, Carol. we're gonna really, really miss you a lot. And I wanted to see if, Rich, did you want to say anything?
Just that Carol, you know, she's been here as long as I've been here. You saw us grow from 3 or 4 people to where we are today. She's
Very true.
very valuable. When I first started helping me find my way, I didn't even know where the bathroom was when I got here. I want to thank you, Carol. I want you to enjoy your retirement. Well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick.
Christine,
Mark?
yeah, Christine, did you want to say anything?
I do.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Pulled out her folder.
Carol, my sincere congratulations to you on your upcoming retirement. Time sure goes by fast. Over 2 decades of loyal and dedicated service to the CCIDA, Chautauqua County, and its businesses. I haven't been here the entire time, but working side by side with you as fellow project managers, I can attest that you truly care for and have worked really hard for all of the business owners who are your clients for the benefit of their employees and their ability to succeed and prosper here. Thinking back over the years, you'll remember things like the Energy Conference, Boots to Business, the Veterans Seminar, 100 Businesses in 100 Days, On the Move, and of course, our comeback will be better than our setback. These days, we can relax when we hear terms like PPP and idle, but who can forget the extra long work days working remotely from home to support all the businesses who needed extra help during the COVID-19 pandemic. During that time, you facilitated a lot of emergency working capital loans that Mark mentioned, and the new EDA CARES Act loans fully lent out in record time, probably from your kitchen table. Not to mention countless LTEC and CRLF loans and pilots facilitated over the years, supporting local investment here. Additionally, a few companies would not have survived without your assistance, and I'm sure you remember those deals and how much it meant to them. I was thinking about your time as an employee with over a 20-year career, what a couple of decades means and how fast the time goes. When you hit a milestone like that, it really gets me thinking about dedication, commitment, and in your case, knowledge and expertise gained, and the value of all the longstanding relationships you have with your clients. As you reflect on your career and think back to the days working through things that come up in life, I'm sure you'll think back to your children and your grandchildren when they were younger, your mom, your home, and wonder how you did it all at times. But you did. Extremely reliable, you showed up every day and you made sure your clients were taken care of, no matter what, and that projects were ready on time for the loan committee, board meeting, or whatever was needed. One thing that always stood out to me about you as a project manager is that your clients really love and trust you, which says a lot about the person and the professional that you are and the customer service that you deliver. I remember when my position was created, and as a new hire, it was time for you to introduce me to various North County clients. Some of them, and you'll remember which ones, really took their time transitioning over to me, even years before they no longer followed up a call with me by calling you as well. As a coworker and a friend, I appreciate you being available as a colleague and a resource over the years. And I appreciate that you did all the HCR grants. I also sincerely appreciate your compassion and your caring and your support when it really mattered in my life. Thank you for that. Beth.
Before you say anything,
Okay, wow.
I'm not done. I have 2 sentences.
oh, go ahead.
Yes. Of Carol, I know this change isn't quite hitting home yet, but congratulations. I and we all wish you a very happy retirement. Thank you for everything.
Cards.
Wow.
And then
I think it just hit me like
I should have brought my glasses over to remember what it says. It's large
oh,
enough.
wow.
Mark, do you want them?
So Carol, it says CCIDA. In appreciation of your 24 years of dedicated service to the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency. You exemplify our values of honesty, integrity, and teamwork, and your presence will be greatly missed. Cheers to a well-deserved retirement. January 28, 2025, presented by the CCIDA team.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Okay.
And there's more cake.
Okay. I like am totally overwhelmed. I didn't expect this at all. And thank you all for your kind words and all your support through the years. During working with the IDA staff and the board, we've all worked on some incredible projects and it is teamwork. With the help of the staff and the board, nobody could get done anything, I couldn't get anything done, but I mostly enjoyed my visits and my tours to all the various businesses around here and all the unique things they make and where they end up. And I'm really appreciative of what you're doing today. Thank you very much for the kind words, and I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to work here, to get to know you all in a professional manner, and more than anything, as friends. I've made some great friends here. I've worked with a lot of people over the years, wonderful CEOs, CFOs, and they've helped me too. They've shaped me professionally. And so I have a lot of good memories, and again, a heartfelt thanks to all of you. I don't have anything lengthy to prepare. Fills me up in more ways than one. But there's a wonderful staff here, and I'm glad I got to know everybody. And hopefully we won't be strangers. But thank you again.
You all know Carol's last day is February 1st. So she's been
Right.
working with the other, primarily Rosie in the South County, introducing her to her clients and really making sure that, we don't, well, we're gonna miss a step, but that we're landing on both feet as she.
Oh, yeah, and they will love Rose. I put Mother in good hands, and Christine. You guys, you do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe while I'm at it, Brad Walters sent his resignation in December 23rd. And he's retiring. We knew it was coming. And I'm just going to read his letter real quick. Please accept this letter as my resignation from the CCIDA's Board of Directors, effective December 31st, 2024. I have enjoyed serving on the board for the last 7 years and hope I have made positive contributions. I would like to thank both of you and County Executive Wendell for having given me the opportunity. I wish everyone at the CCIDA a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Seems like a long time ago. Brad, he's been the executive director of the BEST, the Builders Exchange of Southern Tier, for many years, and he's been mentoring John Healy for at least 2 years. So John Healy was approved by the legislature to replace Brad. I think we're in good hands. I'm not going to go on at length about John right now because he'll be at our next board meeting and I'll introduce him and give a little bio on him. But, Brad he was the vice chair. Oh, that's the other thing. Vice chairman of the board for a couple of years. And with his resignation, we needed a new vice chair, and Dan Heitzenreiter has agreed to assume that position. Yeah, and we will vote on that at next at February's board meeting. And then Amy has agreed to backfill the secretary position that Dan will be vacating. So again, we'll do that at the February meeting, but I wanted everyone to know that that's what's going on and how much we really appreciated. Brad's always here, always was very stable and sensical, and we'll miss Brad. So thanks.
And he had a lot of good insight on what was going on, out in
Oh, yeah.
in the community. So it was certainly beneficial having him on the board. And just one more thing with Carol, the IDA, you did incredible work, and certainly I experienced that. It was on the board, but I also had the opportunity to experience that as a business owner. So I'd just like to thank you from all the business owners, how much you mean to all of us and the work that you did, and for the expansion that my company was able to have through the efforts that you did, and putting up new buildings and jobs that created that'll go on for a long time. And those employees don't even realize how instrumental you were in that, but that was just one small thing that you did, but you've done that time and time again for many different businesses. So we appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Gary. Ed. My pleasure. It was fun for me.
I'd also like to welcome PJ Wendell to the meeting this morning. Did you have any words you wanted to share with us?
I'll probably discuss under new business, the first resolution, but no, just excited. Congratulating Carol on her retirement and
Thank you.
Brad as well. We went with Brad and some members of the Builders Association recently with some concerns they've had, but he's always had a very solid, strong voice in Albany. And Gary, as you said, he's always listened, a good ear to the ground as to what's been going on in the community. So his replacement will following up in his footstep. I think he'll do well, but Brad will be missed like his little Carol.
I'd like to say the same thing. As a property owner, Carol walked through a number of my buildings with heels. And there was
Always heals.
wet leaky roofs. And I remember one time being like, God, I hope she doesn't. She was very helpful. Figured it out about 15 years ago. And I wasn't one of those that, I did call Christine. Thank you very much for all your help.
Before Christine.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Cal. It's been a pleasure working with you too.
Yeah.
Appreciate all that the board has approved. I mean, it's up to you too.
Thank you.
Oh, Greg?
It's ancient history.
Oh, no.
Watch, it's a baseball rep.
The only person who's left around here older than she for this. But anyways, above, we talk about Carol Rasmussen
Is this a
going
compliment?
above and beyond. There's one event which some of you recall as part of the evening. But we were doing an event at a hotel, and it was an overnight thing where we bringing people in and entertaining people from out of town. And Carol went so far above that it went beyond Bill Daley's. And for those who remember Bill Daley's abilities, Carol went and entertained, and then ultimately those folks became very good customers, clients of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency. But that was indicative of Carol going at all times. She was willing to volunteer, willing to go out, visit with the customers. And this was time and time again, and not often seen or noticed, but that was just indicative. And by the way, she's an alumni of Woodstock as well, so. Much more.
A different story.
That one I want to hear.
It isn't that exciting. I know.
We'll go ahead and move into new business A, about the commercial air service for the Jamestown Airport, and who's going to be sharing that with us?
Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
You can, I'll.
Okay. So you're probably aware that the county is sort of going through a process to try to establish commercial air service at the Jamestown Airport. Give you a little history if you haven't read the resolution. airport service was terminated, essential air service was terminated in 2017 by the Department of Transportation. And in September of 2019, Boutique Air submitted a joint proposal to reestablish commercial air service between Jamestown and Pittsburgh. That was ultimately denied by the Department of Transportation in 2020. And they noted a lack of market research to support the business case offered in the proposal. So a year and a half ago or so, the Airport Commission recommended that the county undertake an independent analysis of the economic market viability of commercial air service at Jamestown Airport. And the IDA and the county, so the IDA committed $25,000. The county committed $50,000 of ARPA money to commission a market analysis. They contracted with Passero to undertake that analysis. It was called the AHW Air Service Recovery Program. And it concluded in late 2025 that the regional market in and around Jamestown would in fact support the reinstatement of air service in Jamestown. So, you know, the county legislature just passed a resolution last week in support of commercial air service, reestablishing it. The CCVB just passed a resolution. So this, in that same vein, is pledging our support for the reestablishment of commercial air service at the Jamestown Airport. So that's in a nutshell what this resolution is doing.
No, I'd just like to follow up. You know, as Mark stated, when I first came into office, I'm a movie quoter, so I envisioned, if you watched Apollo 13, where they took all the pieces and we need to make this fit into that using all of these pieces. And that's what I envisioned about the airport, because we'd had study after study after study, but it's got to be something missing. And we found out it was the market analysis. So we commissioned and, you know, it rose up through capital projects and was turned down. It just was and I understood the position behind it. So when the ARPA money came through, the IDA brought the gap funding, the legislature supported it, and we got that missing piece of the puzzle. So now we are poised and ready to move forward. I just spoke with Shannon today before I got here, one of the reasons why I was late, and got a follow-up as to where we are. So things are moving forward. You know, we speak with Senator Schumer. Mark can tell you, every year we go down, we mention EAS, we mention, you know, the programs we're looking to do and reinstating essential air service, more so commercial air service in Chautauqua County. So I'm excited about this. I feel very confident that we are on the right path. We have the missing pieces. We have what has been asked of us. You know, we sat with Senator Schumer and you know, contrary to statements that have been made, he still is a very powerful person in Washington and is able to get things done. So I'm confident between Senator Schumer and also with a great voice and the power of our new congressman, we will be in a much better place when it comes to commercial air service. I'm excited. We do have one airline discussing and another one coming in to talk with us shortly. So I'm excited about the opportunity. So we'll see where this goes, but I really think this is that one step closer to crossing the finish line and being able to reestablish something we lost so long ago. And unfortunately, no one has been able to give us answers or even come close to justifying why we lost the essential air service program, other than we were a victim of politics, is what I was shared with. So we're going to unite. We're going to be strong in our efforts moving forward. And I'm confident that, you know, we will have this, we'll cross the finish line this year.
Yeah, and I left one critical point out, and that is how important having commercial air service is to our business community, to our, you think about Cummins Engine or SKF or Wells or the National Comedy Center or Chautauqua Institution, the list goes on and on and on. So this is, you know, from our perspective, is in the best interest of the business community to have commercial air service at the airport.
Thank you. Sagan, can you move new business A for us?
Sure. Resolution 01282501 of the members of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency supporting commercial air service at Jamestown Airport.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I can second it.
Thank you, Tom. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
And the resolution is unanimously approved. Next, we'll move into new business B, Refresco project revision.
So this will be a verbal resolution today. A few years ago, the IDA had passed a tax lease pilot resolution approving for the sale of the old Chautauqua building from the IDA to Refresco. They purchased it. The project has changed somewhat in scope, and Millen thought it would be best that we came back and told the board that and had an approval for that. It's still a very exciting project. They purchased the facility for the 1.5. They're investing over $2 million in it and are retaining the jobs there. And Millen will later explain the resolution, but we have on the phone today with us Rachel Gradner from CB Richard Ellis. And Rachel's going to talk briefly about the project, what it looks like today, and we'll answer any questions that the board might have. So welcome, Rachel, and
Thank you. Good to see you, Rich, and appreciate all of your
I
time.
love
Rachel
your office,
Gradner.
by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this one I think is some fancy office overseas, but we'll go with it. So good to see you all, and Rich, thanks for your time and inviting me here. I'm Rachel Gradner with CBRE Location Incentives Practice. I've been working on this project with Rich and team for a number of years now. Glad to be back here. Refresco has since acquired the facility. They intend to retain their existing employment and invest in that facility to convert some of that cold storage space to warehousing, be able to bring some of that distribution capacity over to that facility, and intend to make investments over the next 24 months. So again, appreciate your consideration on this one and look forward to bringing this to the finish line.
Some of you may not remember, but we sort of, we owned and managed that facility, and it was off the tax rolls for many years, 8, 9 years?
It's
And
counting.
yeah, and Rich was up many a night heading down there, and but it's back on the tax rolls. It's being productively used. It's helping Refresco. There's investment going into the facility, so it's a good story.
For this one and the other two, and Mr. Chairman, if you want to take them all together, we can, but each of these is a pilot, or the next two are loans that you've already approved, but there have been changes. For Refresco, there's no additional financial assistance. It's the same financial assistance package that you approved previously, but Refresco isn't committing to sort of their next phase. So it's going to be the same employment and a baseline of investment. So and just a voice vote, because we're ready to close with them. But since the project had changed a little bit, I wanted to make sure that all of you were comfortable with us going ahead and closing under the new commitment.
So we'll go ahead and look at all three of these, and then we'll do a vote. But was there any questions on Refresco? Okay, we'll go ahead and move into new business C, Chautauqua Utilities Loan Revision.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, everyone.
Chautauqua Utilities loan revision. Dating myself too here, almost the 20th year here. When I came, we had a loan with Chautauqua Utilities. The original amount was $680,000. Facility in the Stowe area that was bringing natural gas to residents out there. Through their ups and downs, they currently owe us $235,000. They are being purchased by a company owns a lot of gas wells and has been in the business for a long time. PTP Development is one of the companies that they own. The owner of those is Chad Bugman. I've known Chad for over 15 years. I think it's a great move. He will be assuming all of the responsibilities of the previous owner, personal guarantees, life insurance, and we have the same collateral. And as I said, the current balance is down to $235,000, and we will we've had a first position for a while because M&T was paid off and then now we're now first, so we'll keep our same position, so.
Yep.
That's a good one.
I would comment that this was approved by the IDA in 2004. Rich Alexander was the administrative director, and all the documents were notarized by Carol.
Well, it's just my day.
So again, the change is going to be that we would release the current guarantors, replace them with Chad Bugman, and let go the current Keyman Life Insurance and replace with Keyman Life Insurance from Chad Bugman. Again, it's an existing loan. We would just make this modification.
I think it's also worth noting, if we're doing ancient history with Carol, is the fact that this was a loan closed by the New York Job Development Authority as administrator
Correct.
of the LTEC Trust Fund. One of the last survivors, and that in turn was assigned to us, which we took that whole portfolio. They've all been paid off except this, and I think there's one other. And that's it. That's the end of an era.
End of an era.
Any questions from the board? Okay, we'll move into new business D, Blackstone loan revision.
This was a loan that we did in 22. One of the last loans that came out of the EDA COVID money. It was to Blackstone Advanced Technology down on Blackstone Avenue here in Jamestown. It was for a bonderizing machine. And at that time, we approved first position on the asset and second position or subordinate position on all other assets. They have paid down their balance from 473 to 361 as the end of the year. And made January's payment, so it's even a little less than that. They are refinancing their entire loan portfolio with PNC, and PNC has asked us they would like first on everything. So I see no problem with it. It's we're well collateralized. We have subordinate on all the other assets, so we're very well covered. And this helps move that refinance along and helps the company. So I think it's a good move. So that's all I have unless there's other questions.
I still don't know what a bonderizer is, but that's we're going to subordinate.
It takes bonds and it iserizes. How'd you like that?
Okay.
That answers that question. If you don't know, you got to make it up now.
There you go.
I'll go ahead and move this. We'll make a resolution to accept all three of these revisions to both the Refresco project, Chautauqua Utilities loan, and the Blackstone loan at the same time. Do we have a second to approve those revisions?
Second.
Thank you, Sagan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All three revisions have been accepted. Next, we'll move into the executive director's report.
Okay, I'm gonna be quick here. Childcare. And Millen's gonna, because I'm probably gonna butcher it a little bit, but Millen's gonna talk about the New York State Legislature amended the general municipal law, uniform tax exempt policy, to add a list of things that need to be considered and evaluated by the board when they're making their decision about projects, and that is the provision of childcare. I probably butchered it. I think I did because I could see the look on your face. When you talk about it.
Well, actually, New York State Legislature in its infinite wisdom, I think, did something that they didn't intend. The general municipal law says that in adopting your UTEP, there's a list of things you have to consider, and they've added to that list the extent to which childcare is provided. Now, I don't think that that's what the ledge meant, because that's a one-time only thing. You adopt your UTEP and you're done. What the sort of IDA community thinks that the ledge meant is that when you're evaluating each project, you want to think about whether or not childcare is provided. So the suggestion that I made to Mark, at least for now, is to add that information to your application. So your standard application that's online, everyone gets, and that is provided to you for your consideration before you make any decisions, will include information about childcare. I want to see how how things develop as to whether or not you should amend your UTEP. The problem with doing that is that you can only amend your UTEP with input from each of the tax jurisdictions. So it's not just that you're going to say, yeah, we're going to amend our UTEP. You got to send a letter out to every tax jurisdiction ask them for their input, and then make a decision. So for now, I think that just adding something to your application, which if you approve or don't have any objections, will be, on your website tomorrow. You're going to get the information for all projects going forward as to whether or not there's any childcare on-site facility provided. And presumably you'll take that into consideration going forward in awarding or not any financial assistance.
Okay. Any questions? Second thing is, currently our approving resolution does not have a sort of a deadline for closing. Okay. So what has happened, especially with some of these solar projects, is we approve it and then they drag out and drag out, drag out. And what we really would like to do, and we'll come back to you at a later date with specifically, but what we would like to do is sort of put a deadline on that approval. And if they don't close it within a specified amount of time, let's call it a year, then they need to do a couple of things. One is they need to pay all their legal bills, pay up all the fees and legal bills that have accumulated up to that date. And they need to come back to us and ask for an extension on that. And at that time, they will give us an update of where things are at.
Yep, a number of IDAs do that. Typically, it's 1 year. And if they don't close within that year, the authority given by the board to the staff expires. And therefore, that company has to come back and sort of explain to you what's going on, why it is that you should consider extending that authority. And as Mark says, some of the conditions that you may or may not decide to put on include, payment of any of your costs and fees, including legal fees, or, just explain to you what the heck is happening. And, this is true most pointedly with solar deals, which, some are a couple of years old at this point.
Okay.
So does the commitment run out or the year or?
Well, right now, there's no time limit on your approval of a deal. So in theory, staff could close it 5 years later.
Right.
So, you've given a very long string to the developer and to staff to get it closed.
Right.
I think one thing that Mark is thinking about that we want to get your feedback on and then maybe make a proposal at a subsequent meeting is putting a time limit on that. Right? There should be some reasonable period of time, 6 months, a year, we're still thinking about that. But part of the reason I think Mark wanted to bring it up is to see if anybody had any comments, thoughts, good idea, bad idea, so we can formulate something to bring back to you.
Is this a proactive move anticipating that we could have issues, or is it a response to existing issues?
More a response to existing issues. Again, those solar projects especially are dragging out and dragging out and dragging out.
Now, for the ones that are already out there, the fact that you have given authority to the staff to close it isn't necessarily a commitment to close it, right? So at any time, you could direct us to, call it, to terminate it, right? But that's sort of on a case-by-case basis. I think what Mark is thinking about is more of a general policy of, how do we get control over this process? And, one way to do it is to put a time limit on the final approvals. And again, it doesn't mean you wouldn't extend it, but it means they've got to come back in and explain themselves what's going on. Are they really going forward? Should the IDA extend this possible financial assistance?
Like any other financing, basically.
Yeah, and some would say a year is a long time, but that's still to be determined.
Thank you.
Wanted to give you an update on Mason Industrial Park. As you recall, we, between the county and the IDA, we funded 50-50, what I would call phase one at Mason Industrial Park, which was for the environmental due diligence on the site. We contracted with Clark Patterson Lee to do that work. They've completed all the environmental due diligence work, and there's currently a coordinated seeker review underway right now so that we can file that and have that work done. Phase two, which is the extension of the infrastructure. We're still working on that. We have the county ARPA money, and I'll give you an update about that in the near future. Any questions on that? It's about 60 acres, 55, I think, acres. About 40 of it is developable. The rest is sort of wetlands. And the idea is to get that shovel ready and, have all the environmental due diligence done, stubbing the roads, the water, the sewer, the electric, everything, and have it ready to go and then market it. A couple other things real quick. The Partnership for Economic Growth has a position open for a manager. I don't know, Nate, did you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, we just wanted to mention it because we hope in the next month to post a position. Still probably narrowing down the exact job title and description, but we hope to get that out within the next month for the next board meeting. So just a heads up.
And we're able to do that because the Ralph Wilson Foundation provided funding for the next 3 years. They upped what they gave us in the past 3 years. So it gives us sort of a little more money to be able to do that. And but also at the same time, Nate is carrying a lot, and it would be good to be able to sort of bring that person in and back Nate away from the day-to-day stuff. So that's the idea there. The other thing, and Dan might want to pipe in here, but the Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring, is conducting a State of the Business panel discussion this Friday at the DoubleTree at 8:30 or 9?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Sure.
Good thing you told me, because I was.
I
would have looked.
Katie would have been there on time.
Yeah, Katie would. Oh, she'll remind me.
Katie can speak.
Yeah.
We're reformulating some of our advocacy events that you all, I'm sure, have known and attended over the years that were very elected official focused and separated. Introducing a few new ideas this year, starting with the State of Business, which is Friday. So we have panelists from various focuses of economic development and business in Chautauqua County to provide updates, take some questions. Very much appreciate Mark participating, and we have a good turnout. If you're not registered yet and you want to be registered, the deadline is passed, but you can let me know like at the meeting here and I can probably get you registered.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah.
Be great.
I think it'll be good. Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for doing that. Last but not least, Shelby is going to talk about a CRM called CivicServe, which we think is going to improve our operation significantly. So.
Sure. Kind of briefly about how I've been looking for like the last 2-3 months for a good system to kind of get everybody kind of collaborated on the same page where we're not working out of multiple Excel spreadsheets. We kind of can house all of the information in one place. We were also looking for a little bit of efficiencies, right, with our project managers. And, something that can be accessed on the go. So if Mark's out, on a site visit, he can just pull up information. He has everything in one place. So along comes CivicServe. We actually stumbled upon it. They gave Nate a call one day and he forwarded me the information, and they turned out to be they checked all of our boxes. So they were exactly what we were kind of looking for as far as CRM and something to kind of house all of our grants within projects, right? So that's really what we were looking for. The great thing about CivicServe, and I gave everybody this kind of one pager, there's a public portal side of it. So all of our clients, all the businesses can go in and set up an account. And we can digitize all of our loan applications, pilot applications, kind of keep all of the information in one place. The word public portal is a little misleading. It's not that they're going to put their information out there and anybody can go in and access it. It would just be like their account. They can, kind of control all of the data share from their aspect and also see where we are. The great thing about this also is that it can house all of the communication. So we can send emails directly from the system. We can make it look like it's system generated and not like, Kayla's blowing them up asking for, Paris reporting like we've been doing in January. So we can kind of poke them if they have items that we're waiting for from them. It'll show them history. So any documents that they have provided previously, they can go in and see. So if we are doing annual reports, they can go back and look and say, I reported 19 staff last year. What's my, what do I need to do this year? So that's kind of the public portal side of it. From the admin side, that's where we can go in and we can, see all of the information. We can assign tasks. So, if I want Kayla to follow up with a client in 6 months, I can go in and assign that task and it'll remind Kayla in 6 months, or anybody can do that with, within like the project management, or Mark can assign anybody. Again, it'll allow us to track grants within projects. So for Ripley coming up, we're going to have separate multiple grants that we have to kind of track separately within the Ripley project, that we can go in and we can, set up reminders that, we need to apply for reimbursement for X by whatever date. So it really gives us the ability to do that. It'll have kind of canned reports, preset reports that we can populate. We can quickly run a report or like a summary to bring to board meetings or annual reports, anything like that. So that'll be great too. There's a little bit of like an audit trail. So, if I go into a loan application and it gets overwritten from 200,000 to 2 million, I can go in and say, okay, who accidentally added another zero here, and we can go back and see what changed and by who. What else am I missing? Oh, surveys. So we can go in, we can send out surveys to different clients, different businesses to say, how did we do? Is there anything that we can improve on? Anything like that. And then we can get all of those, all of that data, all of that, and share it with you guys, or we can share it within ourselves and improve how we can improve. Yep. I'm getting there.
Okay.
So timeline. So I'm hoping to have the MSA signed probably by the end of the week into next week. Millen gave us some feedback. I went back to them and they conceded to everything. So we should be getting an updated MSA probably within the next couple of days, so we can get that signed hopefully. And then I would assume about probably a 3-month timeline. By the time they get all of the information from us, we'll sit down, we'll have several meetings because there's different layers that we can add in with the system, different programs and projects and how we want to get everything uploaded into there. They'll do 90% of the implementation, and then we'll go in and, add our 2 cents or make it however pretty we want. And then the last piece is that there will be an open API. So if we were to say a year down the road, Kayla and I say, we are fed up with our accounting system. We want to implement something else. We go to Mark with a proposal. There's the ability for the 2 systems to talk, most likely. Obviously it's not 100% guaranteed, but they are set up for that integration. So if we get there, then we would have that ability. And then last but not least, affordability. They've waived the implementation fee. So all of their work that they're going to do on the front end is waived. I'm sure it's built in somewhere, but it's waived on paper. And then going forward, it's going to be about $1,200 a month. So it's definitely affordable and something that we can manage.
I would add, this is deemed to be professional services, so it's not the kind of thing you can go out and bid. So it is exempt from the competitive procurement process. But so you don't need to go out and bid various places. And if you're comfortable, then my suggestion would be a voice vote to approve the contract.
And I will add to this, kind of gives you an idea of what it would look like when the clients log in. This little section right here where it kind of shows, anything that's outstanding would be up here, and then like where they are on the timeline. So it'll kind of keep them on the same page as far as where, where we're sitting.
And I'll just add one thing. I mean, we need to get more efficient. we've been sort of operating with emails and spreadsheets and folders and, it's just not efficient. And I think this will really help us. Of course, it's going to come down to us applying ourselves. I'm the worst offender. I've said that many times. I need to go and use the system and get used to it. We need to make sure that we all do it and that we're using the system. So, we'll report back in 6 months or so and let you know how things are going.
Well, the IDA and its subsidiaries has grown so much. There's so many more grants, there's so many more projects, and these things get really complicated. And so I think something like this, it's past time to have something that's going to keep it more organized and be more efficient.
And Shelby looked at a number of different systems, so it's not like this came to her desk and, okay, let's use this.
Yeah.
She really did a lot of research and looked at different systems, what other IDAs are using, et cetera, called references, et cetera.
Yes, we spoke with three references that are currently utilizing CivicServe. One of which has been with them for a long time and has kind of worked out a lot of kinks with them, so.
Any questions?
Did you say we need a voice vote on this, Millen?
Yes, that'd be my suggestion.
If it's okay, I just would voice support. We use the CRM at the chamber and it's expensive, but it's amazing the functionality and the efficiency that you can have as you've said. So, I'm happy to make the motion if
Okay.
that's what you're looking
No,
for.
yeah, I'll accept the motion. Any other questions?
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and we have a first and a second on the motion to accept CivicServe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, we'll move into the treasurer's report.
So we unfortunately do not have December's financials wrapped up just yet. January is kind of ugly. There's a lot of year-end entries that we do and reports that are a little bit time consuming. So we will have that in February. Another item that we will have in February is the audit committee meeting. And then in March, we will review the audit. So that's really all I have.
Okay.
My first treasures.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Good job. Short and sweet, that's what I like.
Do we have items we need to discuss for an executive session? Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, I would accept a motion to move into executive session to discuss some loan portfolios and other personnel items. We have such a motion. Thank you, Kevin. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tom. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are back in open session. I'd like to report that no actions or votes were taken during executive session. And therefore no minutes were needed. Is there any old business to come before the board?
Yes, I can't let Carol escape here, so almost
Say
thought
thank
she
you.
was. She's not
close.
not gonna make it, just I learned early on from Carol that if I could only be as good as she was, to have every single one of her customers trust her, admire her, and respect her. And it's unbelievable when you call one of her customers, they just love her. Every single one of them. So for those that are here, I encourage you to strive for that, because I did, and believe me, I know I pissed a lot of people off. But
Not
to a
true.
T, I think Carol just did an amazing job. And Kevin, I'm gonna go back to the heels, because I took her to SKF one
Yeah.
day. And she had on these heels, they took one look at her foot and say, "You're staying in the office." She never did that again, though, to your credit.
I carried him in my car.
Good luck, Carol. Well-deserved
Well,
retirement.
thank you, and thank you all again for this. I just am overwhelmed. I really am. And I appreciate all your help and support through the years. EJ, Rich, Mark, the staff and the board. It's just all one team. I know I'd be recognized today, but we're all in it together and thanks again. I couldn't have done it with everybody's expertise in the room and your help and support. And thank you.
Thank you.
And I just have one last thing. We're gonna be presenting at the February meeting, our annual report of 2024, our accomplishments and then our goals moving forward. We'll have the annual report all done, published by then, so we'll be able to hand that out. And then in February, the planning department's gonna present to the PED. And then in March, the IDA and Partnership for Economic Growth present to the PED. So that's sort of, wanted to give you a timeline on when that's gonna be presented.
Did you mention that in February, you're probably not gonna do the binders anymore? Or is that not?
Yes,
Yeah.
we've decided, there's so much paperwork behind a lot of these projects that go into effect, and usually I fill 5 binders full of material.
Killing a lot of trees.
Yes, so we'll have 1 binder for reference on the board table at each of the board meetings, if anybody needs to reference them, and then the resolutions obviously will be in your binders. But just to, there's so much paperwork behind it. You also do receive that in the link on your, the Friday before this Friday. So you have it also in the link to review. But if you'd like anything printed out in advance, please let me know. I'd be happy to do that for you.
I only had 8 black file cabinets, that's all.
Any other old business? Hearing none, we'll consider the meeting adjourned. And just a reminder that the next CCIDA board meeting will be February the 25th. Be here at the BWB Building, again at 10:30.